The fallout isn't finished after making a racist tweet and then having her television show canceled by ABC yesterday. Roseanne Barr is still talking on Twitter, apologizing once again for her actions. This time her words were directed to the woman she tweeted about, former advisor to President Obama, Valerie Jarrett. Roseanne saying to her, "I don't know if you saw it, but I wanted to apologize to you for hurting and upsetting you with an insensitive and tasteless tweet. I am truly sorry. My whole life has been about fighting racism. I made a terrible mistake which caused hundreds of people to lose their jobs. So sorry." Barr also told her followers that she was, quote, Ambien tweeting. That's a reference to the drug used by people to help them sleep. She said that she would explain more about what happened this Friday on the radio show of comedian and UFC host Joe Rogan. Emily Heil is the reliable source columnist for the Washington Post. She joins me now from their newsroom. Emily, this was the biggest hit ABC has had in, I think, more than 2 decades, but it sounds like they didn't hesitate to move quickly on this. Were you surprised by that?
It was huge. I mean, it was a huge show. It was drawing in 19 million viewers per episode on average. It was a massive hit and a massive advertising juggernaut for the network. So I have to say, I was a little bit surprised at how quickly this all played out and how quickly ABC moved to cancel the show. You often have seen, as we have seen, with things like this, sometimes there's a drip, drip, drip. There's, waiting to see, is the apology enough? Could there be something short of firing, cancellation, et cetera, a leave of absence, some sort of, some other intermediary step. But in this case, the move was quite decisive. So I think I was surprised a little bit. But then again, these comments that she had made on Twitter, I think had made it very untenable for the network. And there was such a backlash on social media. There was talk of boycott of advertisers on the show. So I think the severity and the offensiveness of some of the comments that Roseanne Barr made just made it absolutely quickly apparent that her show couldn't go forward.
Yeah, she's always been a bit of a wild card. They knew they were taking a risk with her. She was given a lot of leeway, but she clearly crossed a line. What's going to happen to her and her career moving forward, do you think?
That's unclear. Some have asked me if I thought it would be possible for the show to somehow survive on some other platform. That seems so unlikely, given the response and the concern. So any mainstream kind of platform, I think, wouldn't go near this. Also, many of the cast and crew have sought to distance themselves from Roseanne Barr's comments. So clearly the show is no-go. Could Roseanne Barr herself resuscitate her career in some kind of maybe conservative platform? Possible. Certainly she still has defenders. People are on Twitter, and I think that's part of the reason that she can't seem to let go of this platform is because she is getting some validation from people who share her views, who also truck in these kind of conspiracy theories that she spews on Twitter.
Yeah, less than a minute to talk about, the really unfortunate thing is the dozens of people who will now be out of work because of her. But what's the lesson here? No star is too big to fall?
I think it is. I think that, there's a line to cross. And we're also talking about a family-friendly sitcom on a major American broadcasting network. And so we're not talking about some edgy comedian who's doing some stand-up act that's offensive. I think that her offenses were so clear. And so maybe this provides some sort of cautionary tale, but it's a pretty obvious one that we already kind of knew existed. So I don't think we're learning something new about standards here. I think that this was kind of a clear-cut case.
Yeah, and a lesson on social media and using your filter, your internal filter. Emily Heil, good to see you. Good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, Emily Heil's the reliable source columnist for the Washington Post.